feelings. So it relates back very much so to your earliest memories of money. In a little while I'm going to talk about different kinds of relationships with money. A restrictor or a permitter. My earliest memory of money zeroes right into that, and then I'm going to ask you guys to take a few moments. My earliest memory of money, it actually comes around Hanukkah. And my parents would give me a silver dollar. And I'd put it in my hand, and I'd feel it. I actually should, I meant to bring it. I still have them, believe it or not, which is pretty amazing. And because the lesson there, the energy that I absorbed is, don't spend it. Hold it. It's not supposed to be touched. It's not like I can go out and buy any kind of gifts. I mean, a silver dollar back in the 60s could have bought a lot of things. So for me, I absorbed that tightness around money. And it's really interesting when I went back and I visited my earliest memory that, oh, that's why I feel the way I do. So take a few moments. If you want to write your memory down, I invite you to do that because you can visit it and think about it later. But just take a couple of moments, and then if anyone or whomever is comfortable in sharing your memory of money, it has such therapeutic value to the rest of us because we resonate with one another. And it's very important to be able to go in and connect. While you're thinking, I'm just going to share something because someone was saying that we don't learn these things early in life. So I did a teen workshop in Woodstock a few weeks ago. And I don't know why, but the woman had suggested, let's do a mother-teenager workshop. And at the time I thought, okay. But that's what we did. And it was really kind of awkward for the teenagers to tell their earliest memory of money in front of their parent. And I'm not saying that because you two are here, but it's so revealing in a way. It's so powerful because it really does create I'm a very visual person, the filter, like a camera lens, that every decision you make is going through that projection of what that filter was. So when you're ready,
like the very first memory you have of money.
What pops into mind? Did I turn it back? Did I turn my clock?
I don't know.
Is that right? Yes.
And you see there's one in the back too.
Oh. Yeah, that's correct.
You see one in the back?
On the windowsill there's a digital one.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Oh, okay. So my clock is slow.
Is it the right time? I forwarded it.
It's give or take 5. Okay. So, would anyone like to share their earliest memory of money? No judgments here. Dory?
Sure.
Please.
It's more of a feeling than a memory.
Speak up so they can hear you.
It's
in the
more
back.
of a feeling than a memory.
Okay, that's fine.
But it's a feeling of panic. Like there's not enough.
Wow.
But then it's, just of course to make it tense, as if the panic weren't enough. There's also this frivolousness, like just unthinking spending. Both of my parents, my mom and my dad, would just buy whatever they wanted, but then there's this, oh my
Panic.
God, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so just a lot of stress around
Yes.
money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a very common problem. And if I can speak to that for a moment, just to shed a little bit of light on that, and feel free to join me. So going back to the earliest memory of money, the reason why it's such an important kernel, it's like a piece of gold that you need to mine, is because we still have an ongoing relationship with our inner child. When we learn these early lessons about money as a child, there really is no proper education that's given to us. Our parents are grappling with the issue of money, as you just shared. And then you go into the schools and it's not being taught. Yeah, you go to college, maybe you take an economics class, but it's micro, macro. It's not, how do you create a budget? How do you set intentions about what do I really want to spend my money on? So you go through life with those childhood lessons that are very poorly formed. No judgment here. I mean, Mark, you're an exception that you were really into the numbers, but most of us really have no idea.
Yeah,
And-
they even teach you how to balance a checkbook. It's like,
And,
yeah.
I mean, I remember my daughter learned how to write a checkbook, but do you know how many people I meet who don't balance their checkbook? A lot. A tremendous amount. Don't even get me started on credit cards, and that
Yeah.
people don't understand. I had a very intelligent man say to me the other day, "Oh no, I'm good on my credit cards. I pay the minimum payment." And I said, "Well, what's the interest rate?" "What?" Only to find out when he did his homework, 23%. So the inner child learns these very fun, rudimentary ideas and concepts about money, and then all of a sudden through the years, the body grows, the mind grows, but that understanding doesn't grow, and then all of a sudden you are bombarded with making all these adult decisions. All these adult decisions. Do I buy? Do I rent? Do I need a credit card? What kind of job do I take? And all these early memories are affecting all those decisions. Even who you choose to be involved in a relationship with, actually. You're using those same filters on who you choose to marry, to live with, to not be with if they don't meet your expectations. And so until you get clear on that earliest memory, you can't have that dialogue created between the child and the adult. And one of the things that I really try and help people do is to create that dialogue so that when you go to make that impulse buy, or you go to restrict yourself from doing something that you know you really deserve, I just did it the other day, still working on that, you catch yourself. Because you catch yourself, you catch your child acting out. And you say, wait a second, I have your back here. I'm the adult. I've learned these tools on how to deal with money. And this is a reaction. This is not me making an intelligent, rounded choice. So that's why, if you leave with nothing else, if you get that earliest memory of money and you can see and begin to observe your behavior around it, your life is going to change. So, I know I just made it really big. It's like big at the loop. But does anyone want to share their earliest memory? Yes, please.
So my earliest memory of mine was not so much money, but it was things that we needed, that money was spent on, that was all based out of this apocalyptic view of the future. Both my parents went through the war, and they had this, or my father mostly had this view, well, if there's a war, we might need this. And they would spend money on things always used, that they had scavenged or like bought in an auction or this or that we might need if there's another war.
Fear,
So,
fear-based.
fear, it was all fear-based, yeah. And
Yes.
so they weren't like well thought out, sound, and everything was always scavenged or used, and I was sort of embarrassed, I guess in some ways, that we were always scavenging at wherever we could. And so I never felt proud of, I guess now as an adult, not proud of my financial decisions, because there's some certain embarrassment associated with that. And then everything always had to be used. So I mean, that's also like my environmental ethic. I always probably pre-owned, but also that's way too much of a luxury. You can never buy anything new.
Sometimes you end up spending a lot more money on all those unnecessary fear-based decisions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like buying a used car that you have to keep repairing or something like that.
Right. Yeah. Anyone else want to share?
I remember my dad sitting at the dining room table and saying, "Where's what was check number 328?" And my mom knowing, that was, I was at ShopRite and that was, I think it was 2122, and it was all controlled, they made it look so easy. And
But was it easy for your mother with all that control?
no, I didn't feel he was controlling her. I felt that, I felt like they were really, I almost feel like I'm trying to live up to I'm like waiting to become, I'm
They
like
had it
waiting
under
to
control.
have what they had, which was a real communication. We didn't have a ton, but we always had enough, and we knew, and my dad was better at keeping the records, and was a little bit like, where's this, you didn't write down this check, Lene, but she was like, oh, yeah. But she was doing the saving, the bargain hunting, and I think I'm waiting for maybe for someone to, I always thought I would like marry someone that would do that, and then I would be good at writing down the things, but they would like handle the rest of it.
Right.
But nobody showed up to do that.
And
And I'm
then
not that good at it.
I refer to that as the knight in shining armor. There are a lot of us who expect someone to come in, like, I'll come to the rescue, and then you allow yourself to just let go and not take responsibility. So in some ways, when you harness those responsibilities and you start making your own decisions, you're like, yeah, I got this, I'm good. So there is power, there's power in that as well. There's definitely power in that as well. So that's a very important piece. Really getting clear on what filters are standing in your way, and that may be very empowering for you as well, to just take a look at what your belief systems are. Would you like me to continue, or do you want to add something?
Let me just say something different for a second.
Please go right ahead, absolutely.
I mean, this is, and then you can go back to it. So one of the ways that when I'm looking at decision making is have a model of vision. And one of the first, it has 5 parts to it. And again, as I gave you the 5 elements, parts, now I'm going to give you the vision parts. And the first part is called, where am I? So, I'm about to make a financial decision. Where am I? Am I 60 years old with 2 kids living in New Paltz? Am I 20 years old? Where am I in relation to the earth? Where am I in relation to life? Where am I in relation to savings? Where am I? Where am I? And where am I? We could do a whole class just on where am I, because it's going to mean different to each of us. Because if you know where you are, you can't know where you're going unless you know where you are. So where am I? Because the financial investments or decisions I'm going to make at this age are going to be completely different than I made at 30. This could be completely different than because I have kids and they're a certain age, or if I don't have kids, or if my kids are older. So if I'm alone, the financial decisions I made when I was alone are much different than the financial decisions. So where am I? So ask yourself that question, where am I? The next question is, where is it? Where am I in terms of time and space relates to present time. Where is it relates to future time. Remember I said the wood element was about future time? So again, where is it? Where do I want to go with my financial decisions? Do I want to set up an endowment, a trust? Do I want to have savings? Like I say to myself, I want to have this amount of money every year so I can support these institutions.